Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, we've backtracked a bit. I didn't find anything by the horses, but I did notice that apparently we can actually interact with Laserax number 4. Something I overlooked before because it didn't highlight when I held down the button. That said, jury's still out on whether it's a good idea, but I just can't help myself. We are forbidden. This Laserax augmetics are just as rusty and in sore need of service, but the creature looks far worse than the rest. Gaunt and weak, almost miserable, the beast looks up at you with glazed eyes as you approach. On the door you notice a scrawled sign that reads, Animal number 4, Don't Feed. The same number is burned into the skin of the Laserax. A quick inspection is enough to determine the cause of the problem. Some of the Laserax's augmetics are clearly not working correctly. The muscles near the energy conduits are twitching, as if the machine spirits, in their fury, were torturing the beast. It is surprising that only this Laserax shows such signs of torment, considering the poor state of the augmetics of all the cyber beasts here. Well, I don't like that. I've seen Glado convulse like that when his augmetics were malfunctioning, Solomorn says, then adds with sudden anger, I doubt the local Afwits have the first clue about maintaining implants. They should have stuck to shovels and left the beast alone. Yeah, I mean, can't really argue there. Ethics of cyberizing animals aside, you know, if you're in a setting where it's commonplace, at least make sure you can do it right. You try to reach your hand inside to get at the Laserax's augmetic, but the cage's bars force you to withdraw. Alright, so they really want us to crack this cage open. Which does make me suspicious, but also, obviously, we're going to do it. I'm not going to walk away from a suffering animal. You're unfamiliar with the operation of the mechanical lock, but that does not stop you from disabling it. The cage door opens with a creak. However, the beast inside shows no reaction. You find the issue and fix it with ease. One of the circuits was broken, possibly damaged in a fight with the other beasts. When you are done with the repairs, you are hit with a realization. There is now nothing standing between you and this huge predator. With a flash of its visors, the beast begins to turn slowly toward the exit. For a brief moment, you find yourself only a meter away from a monstrosity whose jaws could snap a person in two. It hisses in your face. Suddenly, you see something moving out of the corner of your eye. A whirl of skirts, a frail figure. With a small shriek, Maeve throws herself between you and the snarling beast. Off with you! Get away from my lord! Oh, look, Maeve, I appreciate the gesture, but I think I'm fine. I've actually got one of these at home. You, though, you are very much in danger. I would strongly recommend stepping away. The young woman casts a desperate glance at you and is on the verge of saying something, but never musters the courage to protest. She meekly steps aside. The silent duel with the Laserax lasts only a moment, but feels like an eternity. Finally, with a beleaguered snarl, the beast dashes away without laying even a claw on its liberator. Be free! Which, you know, might be a problem, but I'm going to say, meh. Solomorn gives you a nod of respect. Not only did you deal with the augment, you also made a deadly beast recognize your authority with a single glance. Though I cannot help but wonder about the repercussions of this jailbreak. Oh, I'm sure it's fine. I mean, under normal circumstances, yeah, I'd be concerned about unleashing Lacerax and ruin upon the local populace. But narratively, I'm pretty sure we just made a future ally. Though I will say, if we can actually adopt that thing and get CC a proper playmate, that alone would make this entire DLC worth it. And looks like we're pretty much done here, so that was it. Though well worth our time. Let's push on. We're going to finish circling the courtyard, then we'll finally make our approach on Tadua the Scorched.
I always keep my options open.
Which I imagine will usher in the next stage of this particular subplot. Armor of Iron Will. Low and medium. Whenever the wearer blocks an attack, all adjacent creatures must pass a toughness test or suffer 1 stack of perplexed. Plus 10 armor versus range. I mean, not terrible if this were Act 2. But for us, it's just trade fodder. How about back here? Oh, right, I shouldn't just rush. We've encountered a fair few traps. Oh, it actually just comes right back out. Alright, fair enough. Another locked gate. Oh, I see. Yeah, just another shortcut back down, like the gate we opened on the other side at the bottom of that ramp. Interesting, though. Does kind of make you wonder why it would be needed. Also, Glado didn't ride down with us, so he's currently running across the entire city. There we go. The tables are overflowing with rare and peculiar food. There is enough of it to easily feed dozens of hungry mouths, but the servants are unlikely to get even a morsel of this feast. Come on, just let the poor guys eat cake. Nothing with the band.
Keep your wits about you.
It does not escape your notice that a few leftovers from the plates disappear into the servant's filthy apron. Well, good for them. Not, that I want to encourage stealing, but that is a common perk of working in the food industry. I'd rather see it get ate than deliberately destroyed. All right. Let's heat things up. Also, some stuff just beyond. But I'd wager that's for after. Oh, yeah. Autosave. Something's about to happen. You see a man with a cruel grimace on his face, and hands disfigured with burn marks. Behind him stands a ghastly-looking mechanism adorned with a polished skull of gigantic proportions. The eye sockets, their eyes melted, gaze darkly at the crowd with the promise of inevitable punishment. The man, clearly the executioner, bows his head. The very messengers of the sky have come to decide our fate. We are honored, your celestial highness. I'm sure you are. Tadua the Scorched, I presume? Indeed. I am Tadua the Scorched, a slaughterman of the 5th generation, and a humble disciple of the Iron Saint you see before you, your Celestial Highness. Master Tadua knows no mercy, and his hand is unfailingly firm in the sacred cause of administering justice. Maeve is careful to keep her posture straight, but her frightened gaze is deliberately averted from both the executioner and the mechanism behind him. So what exactly is this Iron Saint? This instrument of punishment is a personification of the great Phasmophorius the Martyred, who accomplished the legendary feat of slaying 300 heretics. As is glorious tradition, all mutants who affront the Emperor's gaze and stain the face of Thasara must enter the Saint's iron embrace. Whenever justice is served, hundreds flock to the Phasmophorius, eager to witness the magnificent spectacle. You have just confessed that your semblance of justice serves not as a demonstration of lawful authority and deterrence to your subjects, but as entertainment. Solomorn utters the last word with disgust, as if there could be no fouler profanity. I see the Saint is already lit. Who's inside it right now? What was their crime? Another heretic who violated the holy laws of Thasara. And since his body is already turning to ash, such will be the fate of his name as well. To be scattered to the winds, that it may never again defile the lips of any who live upon our sacred world. Never again defile the lips. Maeve looks ready to faint. She seems both terrified and nauseated by this sacred rite that has drawn so many onlookers. Well, Tad, I can't say you've really made a great first impression, but I suppose it is true. The laws of the Imperium are designed to punish those who truly deserve it. Do you have any other people left to judge today? I'd love to see how you do it. That was but one of the first bodies set to stoke the Phasmophorius. It is going to get a lot busier now. As if to confirm the man's words, the fire-breathing saint expels a puff of acrid smoke, while the guilty are being reduced to ash. Let us meet the next participants in our performance. Two people, or something resembling people, are pushed onto stage. They're mutants, hideous parodies of humanity, forever tainted by the imperfections of the flesh. One of them is dressed in stained yet expensive clothes. The other wears the tattered uniforms of the local guards. Your Celestial Highness, behold! Two loathsome heretics who blemish the very face of Thasara with their existence. Tadua chuckles, but his sneer is completely devoid of mirth. The degree of their guilt may vary, but they both deserve to enter the blazing bowels of the Phasmophorius for the worst of their transgressions, distorting the sacred face of humanity. But since fate has graced us with such lofty visitors, I eagerly cede the right to punish these miscreants to you, your Celestial Highness. Contrary to his honeyed words, the executioner's voice betrays his poorly concealed displeasure. Cassia purses her lips when she notices the onlookers staring at her hands, eyes, and neck. Many point their fingers shamelessly in her direction. Others spit at their feet in disgust. Her chin raised high, the Lady Navigator adjusts her forehead adornment with her clawed hands. She squares her shoulders, lets out a breath, and glares at the crowd with condescension. Sorry, you mentioned the degree of their guilt varied? What exactly did you mean by that? Aside from simply being mutants, what do they stand accused of? Tadua fixes you with a fanatical stare. One of them, despite being the highest lords of Thasara, spat on this world's customs by refusing to alter his destiny. The other did change his fate, even though he was just a lowborn, wallowing in the mud. What in the Lex's name did I just hear? Solomorn raises his voice slightly, indicating that the usually impassive arbitrator is profoundly indignant. I normally have no trouble passing judgment, but in this case, I don't even know where to start. Yeah, I'm having a bit of trouble following that myself. Could you elaborate upon the noble's crimes? Ah, a rotten stain upon the noble families. He was hiding in his manor to conceal his deformities, but had trouble keeping his mouth shut, proliferating filth in tracts that he later sent out with his servants. He declared the choice of one's own fate to be slavery, cast aspersions on the very traditions of the world, was insolent, swore profanely, condemned those who had chosen a new destiny. Luckily, he has no heirs, and today, this cursed bloodline shall be put to a rest, once and for all. The richly garbed mutant moaned something. You notice stitches on his disfigured face. The zealous servants were evidently in a hurry to silence the condemned man early, and sewed his twisted mouth shut. And the guard, what crimes does he stand accused of? Thievery, brigandry, and murder. There is no way to list all the crimes lying upon this freak's conscience. However, his willingness to change his destiny against all odds merits this mutant at least some honor. Despite his feeble-mindedness and simplicity, he had enough sense to obscure his countenance with hoods and helmets, until he made his way from beggar to guard. It was not long before his excessive passion for fighting and stabbing gave him away. The mutant utters a foul curse under his breath, then immediately gives you a frightened look and falls silent. The mere sight of the Celestial Lord seems to instill a reverent awe in the common denizens of Thasara. So let me get this straight. You praise this one for murderously changing his own destiny, but condemn the noble for refusing to do the same? They are both mutants and have thereby violated his law. Yet, when one finds a spark of nobility in an abject commoner, one cannot help but feel a grain of respect for them. This heretic may be of low birth, but he does not flout the values of Thasara the way the nobleman does, and thus honors our traditions and his will. Born into the rabble, he applied all his abilities and skills, defied the restraints placed upon him, and crushed those who stood in his path, all in order to forge a new destiny for himself. Freedom to change destiny? Solomorn repeats slowly with an undertone of utter disbelief at what he is hearing. Even you, a degenerate, should know that everyone has their place under the God Emperor's plan from birth, and that any attempt to change that is a violation of his will. What say you, Maeve? You're my local guide. Can you perhaps provide me with some context for this spectacle? Maeve's gaze darts fearfully around while visibly avoiding the doomed mutants on the platform. I am of too low a birth to take on the burden of being a judge, my celestial lord. Fair enough. Given what I've seen, I can't say I blame you. I guess it falls to me to decide. The word of a distinguished guest is law. We are all trembling with anticipation. Maeve seems to have reined in the emotions that were overtaking her, and she casts a timid glance at you as she awaits the verdict. Well, I mean, off the top of my head, I think, it's already been floated by a number of the viewers, but I think we are looking at an imperial feudal society tainted by Tzeentch, the same god of chaos that fuels the final dawn, Conrad and his crew, who also hearken times of great change, changing one's destiny, i.e., Conrad ascending from his lowly station to the lofty heights of rogue trader, ignoring the fact that they're mutants. The nobleman's crime seems to just be defying that local custom, whereas the other is lauded for following it, which actually further condemns him if we assume that it is, in fact, the influence of chaos. He's a murderer and thief who embraced chaos to better his station. Burn the guard. Free the noble. The furnace? The furnace! All those scandalous misdeeds in one heretic will make oh so lovely sparks. Behold the starfall! The fool's slimy joke is followed by laughter as the crowd anticipates the coming spectacle. Oh look, Bluff's here. And notably armed. Tadoa gives you a dark look. As if reluctantly and through gritted teeth, he forces out the words. His Celestial Highness has spoken. May the flames of Saint Phasmophorius purify you, heretic. Tadoa glares at the surviving mutant with loathing. Get out, and praise His Celestial Highness for granting you a life you do not deserve. The crowd around you starts jeering, and the mutant scurries away in haste. Cassie peers into the black pits of the Phasmophorius' eyes, and, with a strange expression on her face, whispers softly, When you give an order like that, do not look away. Keep watching until the end, so that you remember the price that was paid, so that you remember the weight of your words. And now, my favorite word. Next! A pale, bony creature, barely able to move its legs, enters the stage. In place of a mask, it turns a horrific medley of features toward the world. This ugliness, however, is nothing like that of the previous convicts. The thin, squeamishly twisted mouth is fused to the cheekbones. Malicious eyes peer into the crowd from under hideous folds of skin. The face of this heretic appears to have melted and congealed. What does this one stand accused of? The executioner does not answer right away, but makes you wait for a moment. His crime is more grievous than any this scaffold has ever seen. He was granted a new destiny, but chose to defy it. He turned away the greatest gift that can be offered to the loyal sons and daughters of Thasara. The wretched man's gaze drifts over the crowd until his piercing eyes meet yours. His head twitches, his face contorting in a monstrous grimace. Shut up! Shut up! Before it gets in! He whispers in a sudden frenzy. I won't give up. I won't give it up. I won't. Oh, no, no, no! We didn't come here for you to stay quiet. Squeal now! And squeal louder! The crowd takes up the fool's outburst and begins demanding more screams. Cabela whispers without taking her eyes off the condemned man. You are not the master of your own shadow. The shadows reign over you. You are alone while they are many. But why? Ooh, interesting. Why does this one look different? What's wrong with him? Thessarian fever, he said convincingly. You need not worry, your celestial highness. It is not contagious. And is that Bluff the Fool I hear lurking somewhere nearby? I've got to hand it to him. I wouldn't have expected him to be here after his disarmingly violent encounter earlier. You glance at the crowd and suddenly see the Fool prancing and flitting amongst the gawkers, clearly trying not to be spotted by you. Interesting. They made it sound like he was severely injured, like pared down to the bone. But now he's out here prancing about, riling up the crowd. That would certainly seem to imply he's no longer injured. Dane, if that really is you behind the mask. No need to hide. Why don't you come out here and face me? Or do you not think yourself worthy of my gaze? If it's any consolation, I really don't want to look at you either. Laughter bubbles up from the crowd. The audience appreciates your gracious yet mocking remark. The Fool makes an angry sound and flees, to the cackling of bystanders. Thank you, my celestial lord. Maeve's voice is barely audible. She smiles at you in a small, sad way. Alright, I think I've seen more than enough. Let this one go. Let them all go. As Tattoo opens his mouth to say something, the convict takes a step on his clumsy, spindly legs, and then another one. The face! The face! Pretty, strong, shining. A gnarled claw points directly at you. Give it here! Give it to me, now, instead of the one I bear! Take mine. It's not mine. Take it. Take it! The madman raises his crooked fingers to his face and sinks his nails into its sagging flesh. Shrieking with what sounds like relief, he tears off a piece of his cheek, then another, and then one more. Falling to his knees, he frantically scratches his own eyes out, smearing blood and clear ichor across his face, before collapsing, dead, on the platform. A sudden rumble draws your attention. Like a rockfall tumbling down a slope, the thudding of feet and mad screams overwhelm you. After a moment, you see the source of the commotion. A throng of mutants is charging straight at you. That one guy's going to tell his grandkids about this.
I'll make an example out of you.
Well, I guess this went about as well as I probably could have expected it to. Honestly, seems like I might have just been better off burning the nobleman because I see he's amongst the turncoats. Off on the right. None behind us. It's just the ones that they had condemned. Which actually, to me, especially with the, like, radiating psychic aura on some of these guys, and Kibble's earlier commentary does seem to imply to me that we're looking at, like, a group possession. A bunch of lesser chaos daemons, perhaps, working at behest of their Lord of Change. Perhaps that's what embracing a new destiny means in this world. To allow one of those servants of chaos, one of those demons, to occupy your flesh, thus actually, literally, changing your destiny. Which, again, would definitely go towards explaining the peculiar noble tradition of peeling off beautiful faces and using them to cover your own potentially misshapen own. Something exclusively reserved for the nobility. Though notably not used by the mutated nobleman over yonder. Apparently. I mean, maybe it was and they removed his false face. A tradition which I will also stress was apparently introduced to this world by Lord Rualdo the Fair-Faced. Sounds like he's twisted this planet's imperial worship towards much more sinister ends. That, however, does not mean that he is the one behind our missing tithe. Because, like, that would be counterintuitive if he's trying to get away with these sorts of blatant chaos shenanigans. The last thing he'd want is to do something that would draw imperial scrutiny.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Anyway, let's go ahead and knock these guys out real quick. We'll see what pops up after. Pull. And set Abby.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Follow my lead.
1 point left. Pull.
I'll do what it takes.
Reduce to dust.
Oh, interesting. It actually moved Pascal's stratagems. I didn't realize that was how it
I
worked.
can't stand it.
I thought when you moved a zone, it just wiped whatever stratagems were already in place on it. But apparently, no, it resets them on the new zone. That is good to know.
Mark the target.
Glado, fetch. Nice. Yeah, technically, I guess I deprived myself of potential rewards by burning that guardsman, because I'm assuming he would have attacked as well. I mean, based on what we saw, how things played out, I do get the general gist that no matter what we did, these unfortunate souls
As duty demands.
were always doomed. That there was never any chance they would survive this particular event. Which, you know, given their condition, might be just as well. But I suppose we'll find out.
An offering of blood.
Yeah, let's go ahead and tap that damage boost. I didn't think we'd need it, but might as well.
Trust me. Killing brings me no pleasure,
And come on back.
as the tenants demand.
Goodness. Ah, Kibbles. Even without the visor, still wrecking shop. Yeah, just to clarify, I do currently have her set to run with the Vizier's set, not the visor of inevitability. Visor was causing so much stuttering, I was worried it might eventually crash the game. Also, this way, the rest of our party gets to do stuff. That aside, I think it's safe to say we've gotten to the point where even with my hodgepodge builds, most fights don't really pose much threat. Even on max difficulty.
It will be done.
Oop. Sorry, Glado. Yes, that is something we still have to be careful about. Iconoclast Fanatic does protect from friendly fire, but it does not protect from overpen. Oh, for goodness sake. Alright, you're fine. Pretty sure Glado full resets after every fight anyway. And who's close enough for a finisher? Pask? Oh, for goodness sake. Sorry, Glado. See, this wouldn't be happening if they let me manually place you. I would have made sure you weren't in line of fire. And we're good. Gentlemen. Your Celestial Highness, apologies for my late arrival. I wasted a great deal of time in idle squabbles with that oaf of a treasurer as he was looking for the shipment chronicle. I only heard about the attack after it had already begun, and the elevator might as well not have been moving at all. It was so slow. The treasurer? The elevator? Who are you going to blame next, Governor? Are you the ruler of this world or a casual onlooker? You will take measures immediately and restore order, or I will conclude that you are sabotaging the rogue trader's visit, either by intent or simply due to your own ineptness. The governor babbles in fear. I never thought... He takes a deep breath. The culprits, of course. The culprits will face execution post-haste, my celestial lord. An oppressive silence hangs over the previously bustling plaza. The people are taking in the carnage, clearly avoiding looking at you, but still catching your every word. You notice Maeve standing nearby, gazing around her with horror in her eyes. You know what? Why don't you just bring them to me? I'd love to have words with them. The condemned mutants broke loose and attacked the townsfolk. It has been a long, long time since anything like that has happened, Your Celestial Highness. They must have sniffed out that today is a special day. The executioner's lip curls, split by a blow during the fight. The commander was responsible for guarding them. He got careless. His armor rattling, one of the knights steps forward. I am Lucra, commander of the fortress. I can attest that the ungodly mutants were restrained properly. It's the Phasmophorius. The smoke whipped the brutes into a frenzy. Well, there's a thought. He might just be onto something. Like, clearly they were under some sort of influence. The noble that we spared was amongst the people that attacked us. So I suppose it falls to me to decide who takes the blame. My celestial lord, I swear on my life that my knights and I did everything we could to keep you safe. Who could have foreseen that the Phasmophorius, after gorging itself on miscreants, would start driving the mutants mad with its smoke? Lies! The Phasmophorius does not taunt heretics. It fills them with terror. To shift the blame for your own failure onto a sacred weapon of justice is a heinous crime in and of itself. Alright, well, as unlikable as he is, I don't think Tadua's actually behind this. I think he's just an unwitting tool. Bluff, however, Bluff was definitely trying to exacerbate the situation, whipping the crowd up into a frenzy, calling for more slaughter and suffering. I do think that Lucra is onto something. I think we do have like a Return of the Living Dead situation here. Burning the infected just makes things worse. Relax. I see no reason to execute either of you. Yet. But who knows? The day's still young. The commander and the executioner stop their bickering and turn their eyes to you in astonishment. They quickly recover, however, and offer you their deepest bows, maintaining a solemn silence. You are our savior today, Your Celestial Highness, and in gratitude, please accept this personalized sword from my treasury. Fatebringer once decided the outcome of one of our feuds. It killed a rebel leader, and peace has reigned on the planet ever since. Uh-huh. Sure seems like it. Fatebringer. The wielder's attacks with his sword ignore armor. Simple, to the point. Only real downside being, of course, that it is, again, scaled for Act 2, so sadly useless to us. But, I'm not seeing any obvious... Well, the whole thing might be made of crystal. You know what? We already took the key. Might as well take this, too. Thanks. I'm sure the Drusians will love it. The governor bows at your feet. After putting herself in order, Maeve catches your eye and looks away shyly. Her lips bear a poorly concealed smile of relief. Well, Governor, it would seem that the party's over. Shall we move on to business? Oh, no, not in the least. I will not let some beast ruin everything we have worked so hard to prepare. I suggest we distance ourselves from this place and return to our corner of revelry in peace. By your leave, I will be waiting for you at the head table. Oh, God, Emperor, give me strength. Swallowing noisily, the governor hurriedly departs the scene of slaughter. It amazes me that that idiot just underpaid the tithe, and did not somehow lose the whole planet as well. Solomorn pauses, pensively watching the governor leave. Fine, a feast it is. I am sick of the stench of burnt meat. Let's try a change of scenery. Her face pale, Maeve raises a hand. My celestial lord, it is only a few steps away. The noble lords are already lifting their glasses in their savior's honor, awaiting your arrival. Shall we proceed? No, that'll have to wait for next time, I'm afraid. But I will grab this. Loot for the loot god. Coins for the coin throne. Hardened shield. That's a step down. Just to put it in context, the current shield we have on Solomorn has 40% block, I believe. So yeah, again, scaled for Act 2, but good trade fodder. Which we do need. I also noticed the mutated noble didn't drop anything. So even if we had spared the guard, it seems like we wouldn't have gotten much. Just a bit of extra XP, I suppose.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Thank you, Glado. Sorry about the shots. Radiant Shield. Whenever the wielder blocks an attack, the attacker must pass an agility test or become blinded for 1 round. Meh. Pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. Cupbearer. Dark maroon Amasek is pouring out of the ridiculously gaudy fountain. An eager cupbearer hands you a goblet filled to the brim. Have a taste, if you please, my celestial lord. This vintage has been maturing ever since we laid the cornerstone of our citadel. We tapped it to celebrate you. You really shouldn't have. Also, I think the guy next to you is dying. Is that normally what you use this crystal-ensconced fountain for? Free-flowing Amasek? By no means. Such frivolous excess would impede us in carrying out our burdens of service to the Emperor. It is only on truly great days, such as today, that the fountain pours forth this noble beverage. Besides, even the sturdiest of servants could not work the pump for days on end. The pump? Naturally, my celestial lord. It requires the grueling labor of dozens of sturdy workers to create an upward movement of the liquid in the pipes. It is a most useful contraption. You know what? I appreciate the gesture, but I think I'll pass. I'm here on business. Best to keep a clear head, especially in light of what just happened. I dare not protest. Should you change your mind, I am always at your service. I mean, look, I probably already screwed up just by accepting items with crystals on them. But I think I draw the line at putting them in me. Which, given that we're now being invited to the feast tables, does seem like it might be a bit of a recurring trend. Oh, look at this cutie. Gara. You know what, Ruoldo? Maybe I misjudged you. But probably not. I really hope I don't have to kill your space cat. Alright, well, I feel like that does bring us to a good place to call it. Another day of intrigue. Capped with bloody slaughter, followed by a foretold feast. What do you want to wager? It's a lot of smoked meats. We'll pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
I can't stand it. What a rush.